like to call the regular session of the Gilbert City Council to order at 6:23 PM on the 24th. Roll call.
Councilor Poshnick.
Present.
Councilor Redmond.
Here.
Councilor Gilbert.
Here.
Councilor Bodden.
Here.
Mayor Overstar absent as noted. Deputy Clerk here. Marion and Blake. High Trooper. Also present.
Everybody join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Should we approve the additions or any deletions to the agenda?
Do we have any more that we have to add, though? Are we going to add the inventory? And
We did.
we did. What number did we put the inventory?
L,
L?
old business under L,
Yeah.
and the previous council minutes under M. And in new business, we put Revere.
The only thing that I would add is under the consent agenda for the February 2nd special city council meeting, under instruction from our city attorney, only the portions that were in the open public meeting, and so that the revision has been provided by the deputy clerk for those. Everything that was in the closed session is not publicly available.
Everybody agree?
Make a motion.
Make a motion to add the additions to the agenda? Or did you already?
Ryan did.
I'll second it.
Motion by Councilor Reddepenning, approved by Councilor Bodden to approve the additions and deletions to the agenda. Consent agenda. Invoices from previous approved projects. Do we have any?
We've moved, that would be under the check register. Yep,
That should be eliminated?
yep.
Is it offer or remove it?
Yeah, so we moved what is currently B in consent agenda. So invoices are all now under A, check register for old business, and then B, timesheets for employees. So we just moved them to a different location of that.
Public input. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak?
Well, we need to vote on.
Oh.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
That we did.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All those approved?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Consent agenda approved. Now, any public input? Hearing none, we'll go to the reports. Council member, Councilor Potman. Any subjects?
I believe Glenn could use some help in the office, and I don't know what the answer to that is, but if we have to look for somebody else to give her a hand here to get her feet on the ground, I think we have to look for some help. I believe there's a couple people out there that would be willing to help, and I don't know what much more I can say about that at this time. I don't know how the council wants to handle this. We have a discussion about it.
Could have a discussion?
Do you want me to say who I would recommend to help? No? Okay.
Is this a full-time, part-time?
Or just a part-time until she gets a handle on this job, which is overwhelming.
discussion.
Well, I think one of the things per our collective bargaining agreements is that we do have to notify them that it would be temporary help, make sure that we follow that process. And I do believe we do have to post that. I don't, because it's a short-term thing, I don't know that we have to post it internally, but we should check the legalities and what the contract requires us.
I don't think you have to do it
We
for
didn't do
a
that.
part-time,
No.
non-union person.
No. When Jill had help, we had somebody reconcile the checks. We never went through that process. The council just allowed her to hire this person for a temporary, part-time basis.
Yeah, I think before we move forward, we need to have Brian's input on this. I don't want us to get into a,
We have to pick a wage?
I think we've got to move it along. We can't just, keep kicking it down the, we got to get this stuff done, $30 an hour, whatever we offer the person a job to do.
I don't know that we can do that. We could be violating our collective bargaining agreement, and I want to make sure that our...
Well, we're not hiring a union person.
We have to make sure that we do this correctly and that we do it in a way that's legal. And so for us to make a decision without our attorney present is, I can't support that.
I mean, we could make a decision, and then if there's something wrong with it, he could stop it.
I'm sending them. Told me if we have any questions, I should send them through.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll wait for a response.
Yeah, I would like to hear from him before we move forward with this.
Yeah.
But do we agree that Lynn do you agree that you need help, Lynn?
Absolutely.
There you go. Yeah,
I think we all agree that
yeah.
there's a shortfall here.
Yes. Yeah.
We just want to do it the proper way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we determined a wage to pay this person?
Like I said, I'd recommend like $30 an hour with no benefit package at all, just the straight wage of $30 an hour. That's just my recommend, whatever you other guys think,
Come in as needed and do the things that they're assigned to do?
Right, yeah. They got to have a skill level, of course, in order to do what's going to be required of them.
Some background.
What would we hire them as?
Pardon?
What would we hire them as?
Temp.
Part-time,
Part-time administrator.
yeah, assistant or whatever title you want to give them, yeah.
People mostly, I think, for me, mostly doing things like filing, scanning. Doing mostly filing, scanning, just creating payable folders, for the new year. Just general things that take time that don't really take a lot of expertise, maybe is a good thing.
Mayor, council, if I may interject, we have an individual that's on late duty that would be very good at that too. So if you're looking
Awesome.
at saving money, we
What was
can
that,
look at
Ty?
We have an officer on late duty.
Megan?
Yep, and she'd be very good at that. If it was accounting task, stuff like that, obviously not, but if it's that kind of stuff, she'd be phenomenal at that. And she's very
Okay.
quick with computer stuff and everything, so.
Awesome.
Unless you have another idea, that's fine. I'm just saying that
No, I just
we
want
have
help.
that ability too.
Yeah.
Okay, and we can start that out immediately.
So then the question to Brian is, because that would be a member of one bargaining unit going into a work area of another bargaining unit. Is that permissible because of the light duty clause, which I believe it is?
Okay.
So, and it's short term. I don't know if we'd have to define what that short term
Short
is
term
up
is
front.
like give it a,
Yeah, but we need to make sure that we're compliant with our contracts.
okay.
Sorry, if you don't want them, just trying to.
No, that's absolutely.
that's a great solution.
That's an awesome
If we
solution.
can do
Thank
it,
you.
yeah. So,
And she's just about done with this investigation that was assisted with, so she's just about done with that. So
And so she'll just have more time then? Okay. He's responding.
Okay. Should we table that?
He's responding?
He's at the 3 dots.
Oh,
He's reading it.
Well, no, he's
He's
typing.
typing something.
Okay.
Do we have? Dun, dun, dun. Hurry.
We'll put that on hold and move on.
Yeah.
Go ahead, and then
As
I'll.
he comes back, anything else, Mr. Putnam?
No, that's it for me.
Counselor Skrubik.
I've got just two items. One, I'd like to put on the agenda for the March 10th meeting that we include an agenda item to discuss the organization chart and administrative staff strategy in a closed session so that we can move those issues forward. And I think that's as broadly as I can define it, because there's a lot of different things that we have to discuss as a group.
What time would that be at?
It would be a closed session within
The
the
meeting?
regular meeting, so I would be at the tail end of it.
You making a motion
So
for that?
I'm making the motion for that, yes.
Oh, can you just, you said organizational chart.
Organizational chart and administrative staff strategy.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Counselor Skrubik, second by Counselor Reddepenny. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
And then my other issue is going back to the discussion about the retail garbage service. So I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to put a temporary pause on any retail residential garbage bag sales until Circle K can get back to us. So that until that issue of pricing is resolved, we need to have the right price, which is the price that we set, done at City Hall. So I'd like to have the staff contact them and tell them to pause any sales until we can come to an agreement.
Okay, so just a quick question, because I do prepay for those. Do we say, you just need you to stop where it's at right now?
Yep. They don't have to give anything back, but they do need to stop sales
So that's-
until we can figure it out.
Okay.
Yep.
How long will that be?
Until they can figure it out.
I've been asking them for 2 weeks.
Yes. Because if we don't take action, they're not going to be motivated to move forward.
Okay.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? So the motion is to suspend selling them at the Circle K,
To pause
to pause the selling at the Circle K until we have a,
on retail sales of residential garbage bags.
correct. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
I now have an update from Brian.
Okay.
His response is, I think the contract provides for seasonal or part-time. If it is a temp coverage for unit work, we'd want an MOU. Part-time officers should be permitted when we are understaffed. I said she's on light duty, not part-time in her role, but helping part-time. He said it can get complicated, but it is possible.
So I would say we should probably reach out to Amanda and see if we can get an agreement with her. I think she would be okay with that.
No, it's the LEL.
Well, I mean, well, yeah, actually,
That's true.
well, I
It's
don't
their
know.
employee. Yeah.
We can get clarification from Brian who we have to reach out to.
Right, depending on what we want to do or what the complications are, could determine which direction we go. But if you want, at this point, if you want us to move forward and do something about it, based on what we find out, you could make that motion if you so were inclined to do it.
Because your position is not union. So
No.
ASME shouldn't even be involved with this. It's the
But-
police, LELS, that has to determine that their employee can step into that
Yeah.
position.
So I think
That's
it's
you
another
guys.
longer conversation with Brian and what that
They
looks
wouldn't
like.
have
Yeah.
a problem with it, because as long as it's like due status, as long as it meets.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't think ASME has anything to say about this.
Well, that style, that type of work in that environment, doing filing, things like that, is administrative work is covered within the job descriptions that are already in the contract, and so we would need to get their support in an MOU to be able to do that.
And Brian did say that if it's a part-time or seasonal, then it is. I read that already, right? Provides for seasonal. If it's temp coverage, we'd want to get the MOU. So,
Yeah.
anyway. That's the
It's
information.
not seasonal, though.
It's temporary. It's temporary.
Which, I don't know what the difference between seasonal and temp is logistically.
Seasonal happens every year.
Yeah.
This is just a temporary
Okay.
position
You're
for
right. Okay.
a short time. Yeah.
So the motion is going to be to move ahead, to see if we can get an MOU from the union to have an LEL employee work part-time in the clerk's office at a rate of,
It'd be their rate.
It would be their rate.
whatever the rate is,
Yep.
as needed,
Yep.
Right.
as light-duty work for the
Yep.
LEL.
Yep. So it ultimately would solve two problems for us, so.
Is there a second?
Who made the motion? Did you make it?
I don't know who made the motion.
Paul made the
Did I
motion.
make the motion? I made the motion. Okay, I make the motion.
Ryan,
I
Councilor
will second.
Penning seconded it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Any more? Councilor Skrbic.
Nope, that's it.
Councilor Penning.
I have nothing. I was going to bring up the org chart, but that will be covered in the March 10th meeting, so I'm good.
I think we've got almost everything covered under old business and new business. So we'll move on to staff reports. Chief Teacher.
Also, the only thing I have is follow-up from the last meeting was in regards to vehicles parking on the boulevards. It was kind of a conversation with my officers, who are usually the ones that issue parking tickets and stuff, and because we have about a month left of calendar parking, unless the council changes their mind, I think next year we're just going to go right across the board. No vehicles are allowed to park on the boulevard. That way there's no favoritism, there's consistency, and then people will they'll just have to learn from that, unless the council has another issue with it. But you've got the one in Wisconsin, it never moves. That's the issue. Other people are moving, but I think if we're going to do it, it's all one way or the other. So I'm not sure if the council's okay with that or not, but next year it'll be across the board. That way we can issue warnings, we can issue letters, post everything, and it'll come to an end if that's what the council wishes.
Okay, so you're also saying that they can't put a driveway across the boulevard and park in their front yard?
Well, under ordinance, they can't park in the front yard technically.
Yeah, I know, but
Unless
you've
there's,
been allowing.
we have, yes. So we would probably stop that also.
Okay.
Yep.
Unless we decided to change the ordinance.
Unless you change the ordinance, correct. So, and there's really only one block that traffic is, Wisconsin's our problem, because we have so many rental properties, also with New York. Those are the 100 blocks are our worst, because it's all rental properties and duplexes. So,
And the one on Minnesota, up from Minnesota on St. Louis Street, the house on the corner,
oh, way up there, okay, yep.
there's what, 3 or 4 vehicles parked all along the
That'd be
boulevard?
Wisconsin. I
There's a
think,
couple
isn't it?
in Indiana, too.
Wisconsin and Indiana. Yep, you've got
Right.
the 500 block Indiana, correct?
Yeah.
So then we can just put an end to it, so.
I think it's across the street from, it's that one side street that goes off from Minnesota.
Yep.
He's parked all over the yard.
Second Court Street, yeah.
Are we currently ticketing them for parking violation?
We are not for parking the boulevard. We're still enforcing calendar parking, so.
Okay.
They've just come in and paid for that was this week.
Okay. And that's all I have.
I know we had in the news there was an accident on the trail for somebody parking on the trail. over by, was it Hibbing? There was a snowmobile accident.
Oh, okay.
Somebody parked on the trail. There was a lot of voices going back on concerned citizens of why they parked in the trail.
Oh, I think that might have been in Cook, that really bad accident.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
guy did that.
It was, or up north, further up that way.
That would be considered parking on the trail or including stuff on the trail.
I think it was anyway.
City property. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you.
I think Lynn has some updates from Brian.
Yep, I'm getting there. City clerk.
I did get a couple of updates from Brian. These are from past meetings, so I just want to give you an update on them. The AT&T lease, Brian talked to them. He requested an increase. He was told that they, based on the third amendment of the contract, which I have a copy of if you want to read it, says that they can do whatever they want and not have an increase in the price. And Brian said, go back to AT&T and request the increase. She came back and said it was not approved and wanted to know if that was a deal breaker and that there would be a 6% increase in 2027. Brian said our option is to give notice and terminate the contract or whatever else you want to do.
So what are they offering?
They're not offering anything. They're saying their contract reads that they can change or do whatever to their equipment without having to ask permission or to increase the rate. So
we get $1,200 a month from them?
No, I think we get $1,000.
$1,000 a month?
Yeah,
Their
we
antennas
get-
on the water tower.
We lowered it $200.
Yeah, we get
3 years ago, 4
$1,000.
years.
And then they come in once in a blue moon and request the keys to go up there and do whatever they need to maintenance their equipment.
So Brian said we have the option, we can give them notice to terminate or take the,
It's a good contract.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's basically the one cell tower that crosses over the ridge, right? And so our police and fire and first responder services, their FirstNet service operates off of that tower as well.
I believe,
So if we were to terminate that contract, we would be having to deal with that issue as well.
right.
Is that a separate antenna?
I don't know. That's where I'd like to look at the
It's a
contract.
separate network.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same AT&T.
When is the contract due to be renewed? Do you know?
Well, they're saying that in 2027, there'd be a 6% increase.
Oh,
So I
when was
don't-
that?
Okay,
When was that
but
decided?
but do we know what month the renewals are?
No, I don't believe I know.
So the history of that is we were getting $1,200 from them. It was renegotiated about 4 years ago, and we went down $200 for some reason, and now we're at 1,000.
Brian did tell them, he said, I don't know why, I need you to go back to AT&T because we feel like it should be consistent through the communities up here where you have other towers and what you're paying for those. And that's when she said, we don't have to increase it because our contract says we can make changes to that equipment at any time. And that, no, we're not going to increase the lease amount.
So when we paint the water tower, we have to go up there and make sure all their antennas are out of the way, which probably costs us more.
We did that, yeah. Yeah. It was removed or whatever when the painting process was.
I can go
It
back
was
to Brian
actually
and we
moved to the
can,
ground.
have more discussion about it, but.
Do we know what they pay for other areas?
Yeah, Chisholm, I think. What did he tell us? I think it's like 1,500 in Hibbing or Chisholm.
1,300.
1,300,
something like that.
in Chisholm, I think is what it is. Yeah, they just redid theirs.
Yeah, they're just lowballing us. I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar outfit, and if we say, get your stuff off, what are they going to do? They're going to have to put a lot of money into building their own tower somewhere.
Right.
Play their game, say, we'd like to have you pay $1,500 like you do everywhere else, and you see what response you get.
Right, well, she said, is this a deal breaker? So I don't know what that means.
Well, maybe it is a deal breaker then.
So, I mean, I can go back to Brian and see what else we have. I just wanted to give you an update as to what the status was on that at this point.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we got a Verizon tower just right over here that we could, for our own use, if we needed to, move, if they eliminate the tower up there. But I believe we do have our own system up there for, there is another tower up there on top of that tank.
Well, I mean, this crosses into, we've recently switched over our emergency response system to being cell phone only, right? We don't have sirens, tornado sirens, civil defense sirens. So we're relying on cell phone technology. So, I want us to be real thoughtful about if we're moving forward and we're pushing the service provider hard enough to where they cancel service, that's going to have the impact of we won't have civil defense or emergency weather communications for our residents.
But if they're able to pay Chisholm $1,500, why don't they want to move?
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
Right.
We need to look at what they're paying and they're doing what big corporations do. They're not going to be transparent on pricing. No. So if we need to investigate and actually go to the other towns that have coverage and find out what other cities are paying, then I think we need to do that. Because it does feel like they are lowballing us for whatever reason.
They are.
And I don't think that's not okay, because we do count on that revenue and we need to, take that into account. But we also have, we know that there are certain times of the year, 3rd of July is probably the biggest one, where we have a lot of people in town that are using that tower for cell coverage, and service is spotty when there's a lot of people in town. And there are challenges that come with that from a public safety standpoint. So I want to make sure that we're not doing anything that's going to be throw out the baby in the bathwater at the same time, but we also need to get what's right for Gilbert out of it.
There's a tower in Hutter too.
Yeah, there's a Verizon in Hutter.
You can see it.
I think what I'll do is I'll go back to Brian and discuss with him what he thinks our other options are, as far as can we push back on them, can we not, and see where it goes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then come back again to the next meeting.
Yeah.
I'll put that on the agenda for the next one. Another one that he gave me is the ATV trail. He said, pardon me, the hangup is that the Sterl property currently has a no transfers on the property. You can't do any transfers. So, do we know, he asked me, do we know for sure that whether the DNR is going to buy the property from us? The mineral rights have been severed, and this property, they won't be reinstated. That's what he gave me. I don't know any more about what.
Okay, so
Where's
that's
the Sterl property?
is that the same as the Ridge Inn
No.
property? Or?
No, this is the ATV trail, and I don't have background on that. I don't know what that is. He gave me that to give you an update. So if it's not making sense, then I can come back again with that.
Yeah, because I don't even know what you're talking about.
We need to have property description on there.
Kathy Leone property divide. I talked to Rudy about this. I did talk to Brian. He said the process is that she needed to have the property survey done. Then new deeds need to be created with the descriptions for each property. Those have been done and were sent to the past clerk, but nothing happened from a few months ago. So Brian is going to send me or deliver personally the document with language on the bottom that we need to sign, or I need to sign, or somebody needs to sign, so they can take it to the county and have that actually recorded.
Okay.
So that's the update for Kathy Leone's property.
That's the one that's up here.
Yep. So she had called me.
Oh, yeah.
She had called me, and I didn't know the history of it, so he did give me the history. I have a few more that are mine now. Does that work? I'd like to open accounts at First State Bank, Gilbert, for electric, water, and wastewater, so that we can separate money that is actually physically for those other entities or utilities, and we can keep things separate. So I'm wondering.
Make a motion for that?
One second here. So would that be specifically to address the public utility and building fund as named in the charter?
Can you clarify more?
So in the charter, this is in section 7, subdivision 8, where it lists about there's 8 different specific funds that we need to, so general fund, library fund, et cetera. So there is a subdivision 8, public utility and building fund, from receipts delivered for the sale of utility services and for the sale of any property acquired for or used in connection with such utility. It specifies it in there in the charter. So
it's allowable.
Yeah, so it should be allowable because that is a dedicated specific account.
Okay.
So do I
I
need?
need a motion for that?
Yeah, so they're going to be separated individually.
Yeah.
They're not going to be all lumped together,
Right.
separated individually. I'll make that motion to proceed with that.
I'll second that, provided that it adheres to the charter.
Yep.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
I have an update on the community center. Jonathan from BP Builders couldn't make it, so he sent me one. He said he wanted to provide a quick update. After the hazardous material inspection and testing, the 2 areas of concern that were identified included the pipe insulation and mastic in the ceramic tile, which was tested but should not be impacted by this project. We received an estimate on the cost to abate these materials, and it looks like we will be just under $25,000 allowance for the entire scope of work. The process for this work is isolated, and we will be able to hold off on this work until we get closer to the end of the heating season and not impact the overall schedule. We are finalizing coordination and remain on track to start the overhead rough-ins on the upper level in early March, as well as work on the ADA restroom in the basement. He does plan to attend the 310 meeting to give you another update.
Okay. And the 25,000, that falls within our contingency, I believe.
I believe it does. Matt knows more.
Good evening. Actually, we included an allowance in the bid for that work, so it was part of their actual bid.
Did you actually have more than 25, or what was your estimate?
25,000 was the allowance that we had in there, so it's going to come out pretty close to where we had it. So that was part of the original budget, not part of the contingency.
Okay.
Also had Mike Saylor stop in, and he has property at 221 North Broadway. He would like it changed from commercial to residential because his granddaughter lives upstairs and she can't get assistance with her utilities because it's commercial property. I do not know anything about whether or not anything can be done about it, but I told him I would bring it.
Spot zoning.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah, we can't spot them.
I just wanted to make sure. I was pretty sure that's what the answer was going to be, but I wanted to bring it to you. I don't have anything else right now.
Right in the center of the commercial district.
Right.
I don't think she's in there right now. Is that it? Okay. Moving on, we'll go to start with old business, the check register. The checks from 212 to 217. Did you find anything wrong with those?
No, possibly coding a little bit.
Yeah, I can approve the checks, but I think we just have to get the coding straightened out on them.
Yeah.
I went through all of those, all of the checks and all of the registers from the beginning of the year and made notes on different codings that should be on some of these things, and I'll sit down with Mary and go over those, what they were charged to and stuff like that. There's things that are charged to City Drive. I think the Public Works City Garage got charged for the use of the library at one time. You said it was $2,000. So there's discrepancies that I can see unless I'm mistaken on these, but we'll go with them. But I think we should have a vote on whether we should approve that register or not. Have a motion. And I will sit down with Mary to go over it.
We can make changes after they're already done.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilor Penny,
I'll second it for a little discussion also.
seconded for discussion.
Yeah, okay, so when we code all this stuff, now if we do the scanning, does the scanning also take the code into consideration and itemize it into its proper spot? So it's very important to have the right coding, right?
Right. Yes and no. It scans, when we scan it, it will put it in there, but it does not. There has to be a physical review of it. I mean, once it's in there, we review it and make sure that it's accurate before we would save it.
Put it into the right compartment according to the code that's listed on it.
We can set it up to do the coding and make sure that it's correct. There's a lot of coding from history and now that is not very accurate, and it's a long process to try to make sure, but in the end we can always make changes to them, even if it's back 2 months.
So if the code went in there wrong and went into, you can change
We
it.
can change it.
And move it somewhere else
Yes.
to where it's supposed to be.
Right, it's actually a really simple change that we just learned. So
Okay.
we do have some already from January, the beginning of the year, that we're recoding now that Lynn is here
Okay.
and putting things where
That
it
was
belongs.
the question I had on it.
So I think the answer would probably be yes, because I would imagine any system would have to do this. So if we have to, if it's, we coded it one way and then we have to code it another way, there's a way of identifying that
Yes.
there was a change. The reason for this change was X,
Yes,
so
right.
that we can move that forward for audit purposes and stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's a spot you can put a note in, and there will always be a note, and there will always be backup as to why it happened. If
So-
there's not, there'll be
It
trouble.
will improve our accuracy.
Yes, absolutely. Everything's a learning opportunity.
I forgot to ask, how many licenses do we need? Just one? Are we going to get multiple?
We'll get multiple. I don't know. We currently have 5 licenses for Cassell.
Okay.
For people to log in. That allows our auditors and each of us in the office to do it, to log in. But they wouldn't need access to the documents. So here's the other thing I should probably mention to about Rever. If I send you a link about a document or a form or something, you don't need a license to log in. You can still see that document and you can share those things without having the person receiving them have a license. So at this point, I would say we probably only would need 3, maybe 2, maybe 3, depends.
So you're talking scanners then?
No, just
Just
licenses.
one scanner only,
Yeah.
It's,
because there was an option to have another one, right, when we went through that?
well, the scanner is actually the printer.
Yeah.
Right, and it scans it in.
But you only need one, you don't need one in another spot.
No,
We don't need
the
to.
license just means,
Yeah.
the license means that if I'm on my computer, I can scan a document into Rever, and then Marion could, if she's got a license, we both could do it at the same time. Not necessarily the same document, but we could use the application at the same time.
But you're saying that if she went offline, somebody else could log in because you have licenses for two. It's not
Yes.
specific to the computer.
Correct. That's why I said 2, 3. I don't know. I would want to see which is the best option. I mean, I don't want it to be that that we're trying to get in, and it's just her, Hannah, and I.
And-
I don't
and
know
maybe
that
we
Hannah
can-
would be in there.
I don't know how long a license is good for, but realistically, especially right now while we're starting, if we did get someone to come in and help, 3 would be the most useful for now. But once we get things in there, I think 2 would be sufficient,
We could back down to 2.
right?
It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Check register. Old business, timesheets for employees. Discussion on that. I'd like to bring up that timesheets that we get, every department is different. I mean, there's no consistency in the timesheets. Some people miss the overtime, the regular hours, some people don't. Some people put in how much comp time they have, some people don't.
Yeah.
There's no consistency, and I can understand why probably with it's a problem with the previous payroll system. So in order to do this, I think, to me, we should have a standard timesheet. Everybody has a timesheet, everybody puts in what they have here. I understand that there's different things on the timesheets that the employees have for the public works, where they're either doing cemetery or water or recycling or garbage or whatever that is. And the police department would have something different, and the wastewater treatment people would have something different. But I think there should be some commonality in the bottom line for the list of vacations or comp times, or because some officers list theirs, some officers list no vacation. So
Can I just add something? That has been an issue since we switched over to ADP. And I, like, for my timesheet, there is nothing accumulating because all my time was lost when it got switched over. Lynn has been helping me work on that by going through all of our timesheets to figure out where my time off is. That is something I had requested numerous times with Mike to give me the previous numbers that we had before it got lost. I'm not the only person that happened to. It happened to pretty much the majority of our staff. So if some of that's still empty, because we're still working on that.
So one of the other pieces, and this was the conversation that I had with Abdo when we were talking just kind of where we are in the project. One of the big constraints that they have right now is that, you know, they're working on our previous contracts, but once we have our contracts done, that the very next step would be for them, in order to get this automated and electronic, would be to go into the contract specifications and build the tools for on the police department side and on the public works. They've got different rules in terms of how much they make and you know, how the calculations are done. They would build that first, and then the system would automate all of it. So it's, you know, I was looking at some of like the time balances and vacation balances, and it's really tough to spot any errors in this because it's so manual right now. And that's why I keep pressing on automation of this process, and because the spreadsheet is not going to lie, the system's not going to lie. It's either right or it's not.
do you think we should bring that back in-house with doing payroll?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely something that we can certainly and should certainly work to, because that's going to cost us less long term. But I think we need to start with, we need to get the contract signed. We need to build the system based off of that.
The contract, which contract are you talking about?
Both of them, the LELs and the AFSCME, because they have separate rules. So the business rules behind the payroll processing is going to be determined based on what inputs we have.
I'll play devil's advocate. Say we don't have a LEL contract or AFSCME contract for a year. so it doesn't get signed. What happens? Say it gets signed in a month. Then what
We can
happens?
put the rules from the existing contract in, but then when we have a new contract, everything is going to have to go backtrack. Which, I mean, it's doable. They have processes to do that.
But we pay for that. When we could be doing it in-house to do it. Keep track of it.
One of the issues
I
that
think you have two separate
Yeah.
issues there.
Yeah, one of the issues that I think perpetuated this issue, this problem, is that when we went from paychecks to ADP, there was no verification of information.
Correct. The data migration between the two systems
Was never
was
completed.
not done.
Right.
Because the person in IT or the function of IT that would normally manage the gap process between one system and another clearly did not participate in that process.
There should have been double checks.
It's not the first
regardless.
time that that's happened. That's happened when we moved our utility billing system. If you remember back 4 or 5 years ago, when 2 clerks ago, however many clerks ago that process happened, we had nothing but complaints from citizens because nobody did the due diligence and went through the process of converting one system to another in the correct way.
Well, my argument on this is that if you look at the timesheets now, and everybody's is different, and you try and send this to ADP, and some secretary looks at it and says, what is this comp time? What is this sick time? How come they took this kind of comp time? Why did they get an hour and a half for that? Whereas in-house, we understand that. And if an employee has a problem with it, they come to them and they say this,
Right.
and they say, here it is, and it's straightened out. We're at ADP, we're gonna pay for that. And we're gonna pay a lot for that.
I don't disagree, but part of the taking it in-house, ultimately, we need to get it to the point where we have it on an employee's mobile phone where they log into ADP or are on a website. They enter in, I'm working on, this day of the year, I've worked my 8-hour shift or my 12-hour shift. I've accounted for every portion of that day. And in a weekly period, they push that through. It goes to their supervisor. So if it's the police department, the officers, it would all go to Ty first. He would look at it, review it, approve it. Then it would bounce to Lynn, and she would approve it. So it's the checks and balances. And if you don't have, let's say your shift is 12 hours, if you're not accounting for 12 hours of whatever vacation, sick, work time, whatever it is, it has to equal for each day that basic rule. If it doesn't, you can't hit submit on your time card. Employees will be motivated to have their time cards accurate.
Well, on some of the timesheets for as you brought up, the police department, some people put in 10 hours. And that's all on their timesheet. So it wouldn't jive. But if you have it in-house, we would have an explanation. But if you try to turn that into ADP, that
It's still
secretary's
going
gonna
to
look
be
at
it's
that.
still going to be processed through ADP.
Right.
We do not have the staff to do payroll internally. ADP or Paychecks, they are a payroll processor. We're paying that service fee. That's whether we do it or not. They're still doing our payroll. They're figuring out what the
We are
employment
paying
taxes are.
Abdo
Right. What you're saying is
to
Abdo,
give ADP our information.
Right. So Abdo is processing the manual
Entry.
time cards. They're the ones that are entering it in. That's the part that we're taking in-house. We're removing
Well,
that service
removing
from
Abdo.
We're still going to be using ADP.
Correct, for
For
the end of the year, the
for,
W-2s and all that kind of
physically
stuff.
sending the paycheck or the ACH
Yep, and everybody
transfer.
does already have the mobile option. Some people just didn't get it set up correctly because we never really did anything formal with that. Mike never really did anything formal. He just sort of gave people the links here and there. So it is possible to have that as well because
Yeah.
we already
But
have
yes,
ADP.
we would by moving this forward, we would reduce all of that work that Abdo is currently doing to supplement this process every 2 weeks that we do payroll.
And what we're paying Abdo to do that, because I'd like to eliminate Abdo and bring it in-house, and then we could submit it to ADP.
Absolutely.
Would you make
Well,
a motion to do that?
the employees would be sending it to Abdo or to ADP. Their supervisor would be verifying it, and then our accounting person would be verifying it. So it'd be a 2-step check. That's like
Right.
Abdo would help us get there. They are fully ready to do that. They're just waiting for us to sign the contracts, get the base rules together so that they know what they're supposed to do.
Because rules have changed now, because no tax on tips, no tax on overtime.
That's all part of the business rules.
And also the contracts, obviously, we want to
Yep.
have it all correct.
Safe and sick time, like all of those very detailed rules, that's built into the business rules of the system.
So we should ask the deputy clerk, can that be handled internally
Yes.
now?
Yes. For as much, I mean, here's my thought on this, okay? If everybody puts their time in on their phone instead of this paper stuff, I mean, you know, ADP has geo tracking, so if people are clocking it at home, we'll be able to see that, okay? So I'm not concerned that people are going to clock in at home and then they're going to drive 5 minutes to work, okay? They clock in, they clock out for lunch, they clock in, they clock out at the end of the day. It shows exactly what they did. And they can say, like Sam especially, I was working with water, wastewater. Okay, I worked public works. I was working at going to the library and doing something. If we want to separate his time, we can get that information from ADP, right? The biggest problem is that we're sending these physical timesheets to ADP. She has to go in under everybody's time and put that time in to calculate payroll. It takes a lot of time to do time. If it's already there, the process of doing the payroll is very simple. I've done it in ADP. I did it for 300 or 400 people, and it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. When you have them putting in their time, that by far is the biggest problem.
And I think keeping it locally like that, so I'd like to have that moved back as soon as possible,
Yeah.
taken away from that.
So that's a fairly sizable project, but I think we can certainly put that on. I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but
No.
I think that's something that we can get some timelines on there to see, like, is this reasonable? Can we get this all in-house by May 1st, July 1st, whatever? I think that would be the next logical step. Because the other piece about this is that we have to remember that we are changing the workday for every single one of our employees. And so we need to think about communicating what those changes are.
What work day?
Right now, they're filling out a paper time card, and I'm guessing that most of them sit down at the end of the week, and they.
I fill mine in every day because I can't remember
Well,
5
but I'm
minutes
thinking
ago.
there's probably some that wait until the end of the week to do their time cards.
Right.
And so the fact that we're going to go from a paper to an electronic, we have to allow for change management to take place. We have to give them time to do that.
Okay, when we had this time, they all have it on their phone and they should have been doing it already, but they haven't been.
Right.
So that's
How do
because
we
we
get-
didn't
It wasn't
ask them to
enforced.
do.
It wasn't
didn't ask them
enforced
to do that.
but
Right, they
no.
weren't forced to do it.
Yeah.
But now we have to enforce them to do it. How long does that change take place?
Well, I think honestly, the first thing we would have to do, because when we were given ADP already, nobody was given any direction how to even log into ADP. And not everybody is on their phones. Do you know what I mean? So we would need clear instruction for every department. And I mean, from A to B or A to Z, exactly how you would do it.
Now, is
think
this going to be on their personal phones or a company phone?
Either.
It would be my understanding of anyone that I've ever used. It's an app that you download onto
Right.
your phone.
But
You have a-
they might
you have
not
a
want to use
username.
their personal phone.
It wouldn't even matter
It doesn't.
because it still keeps track of, because of that
They could do it on a
geo-tracking.
computer, they can do it on an
Yeah.
app, they can do it,
Right.
Yeah.
there's options.
Well, I'm just saying that I have a personal phone. I don't want to put those apps on my phone.
Yeah, but it's your paycheck and it's your time, and I think you probably would.
I want a company phone to do that. Does everybody have a company phone?
They have one available if they want one, most people don't want one.
Okay.
I also would like to get a letter signed, and I think I'll have Carl sign it, but I want to just make you aware. I am currently a practitioner on ADP, but I would like to have admin rights so that when we do move this in, I have all of the access that I need. Because I can do a bunch of things, but I want to have I'm going to type up a letter and just have Carl sign it and state that he'd like me to have the administrative rights.
Didn't I thought we resolved that?
Well, practitioner is basically you can do anything, but in the end, Abdo still has control
all the rights.
over what things I can see and what things I can't see.
Okay.
Because there are other pieces of ADP that are, like there's a HR module, there's a whole bunch of other things that we could get that I can't see. And maybe we don't pay for them. And that's a conversation I'm going to have with Tara. It's like, what is the ADP that we have? What do we pay for?
Right. And in those conversations, you should probably ask them, what do they have in terms of an employee services portal? Do they have, I know I've used ADP in the past. Mm-hmm. It's a plug and play. They have these tools that are available. You just have to turn them on.
Well, and that's part of the reason I want administrative rights, because I've been looking to see where I turn it on for employees.
Yep.
And I can't find that because I think it's been hidden. Or
now there may be a cost with that, so we'd have to ask about that too.
No, that's why I want to find out
but
what
if it's
do we
included,
pay for.
if it's included in something we already have and we're just not using it, we should be using it.
Right. Exactly. So
So
those
to
are
get-
questions that I'll ask.
So to get it straight, an employee has a phone. He turns in his time. Where's that time going right now if he turns it in?
On the phone,
Yeah,
I see it on my desktop.
okay. So I'm trying to figure out where we're at on this discussion. Do we notify the employees now that, hey, there's going to be a change, we're going to start using ADP, we're going to put it on your phone, we're going to have a training session for you to get this done, come in, this is how your time is going to be handled?
I would think it would be fair to let employees know that we're looking into more automation tools, but I don't think we should quite commit that what timelines they're going to be, because I think there's a lot of questions.
Sure.
And I think we need to talk to each individual department head that signs off on paychecks to get an idea of the scope that we're dealing with, and so that we can come up with some good benchmarks to push the project forward.
I think right now, if we just kind of threw everything at them, it would seem really overwhelming. I think that getting all those answers would simplify it.
Yep.
Because when we've already tried to change, change is always hard for
Yep.
people, and it was already hard last time, but we didn't have any formal training.
I just need to know where we're at in this
Yep.
process.
Yeah. I mean, it is conceivable. I'm thinking through our staff. It is conceivable that we have an individual or two that don't use technology, and they may need to have,
We do have
access to a desktop to
Sure.
be able to, which we have
Yep.
for everybody. We have that ability to give them access to log in, and we have quite a few people. I would imagine almost everybody under the LEL's contract would be very adept at technology. So just the nature of what they do already, where we're not going to have any problems. So we're going to have both sides of a very wide spectrum.
Anybody that I've talked to about their payroll or payroll issues I've said, we really do want to bring it back in-house because then we have control over it. And I'd like to see everybody be able to log in on their phone. Everyone that I've ever mentioned it to, and that's not everyone, but the people I have are like, yes, this is what we really want.
Yeah.
Do
So
we do this change all at once, or do we start with a department? Say we start with wastewater. Get those employees on board, have them start doing it, and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Or do we
Again,
start with the police department?
I think we
Them
need
on
to
board.
have a better idea of what the scope is and what we're dealing with, but I think we can get that information
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yep, I can talk to Tara and I have a few questions about how it'll work, and then that might be a better opportunity for me to respond to that and say, is it better to go whoosh or is it better to go boop, boop, boop in different departments?
Who's going to train them how to use it? Okay. And you're fine with that?
Yes,
Okay.
it's very
And
very simple to
ADP
use.
has training modules built
Yes,
in.
they do.
Like they wouldn't
Right.
be able to have these tools without having training modules that are all box,
Yep.
pre-made.
So we're in agreement on this, that it's eventually gonna turn over. We're gonna give it a little time.
Yep.
We might start with a department to see if all those people would adapt to it, how they can turn in their time, what it's gonna look like.
Yep.
Can we soon put out word that we are going to be moving to a digital time card? Not tell them to do it, but just say,
No, this is just an update. We want to inform you that this is the direction the city wants to go.
Yep.
Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns at this time, and there'll be more information to come.
Yep.
Is that going to be emailed to them, or so everybody gets it? Or?
I mean, if you did the department heads, and then realistically, when we get to the different departments, you can even have them all sign off that they were given the training and that they understand it, because we want them to understand it instead of just throwing paper at them and walking away.
Right.
And honestly, I think this is one of the things that we can use our relationships with both AFSCME and LELs, because I think both of their representatives would be in strong favor of being more accurate on paychecks and timekeeping. So, you know, we can hopefully lean into them a little bit to see, like we want this process to improve. Having a broken process helps nobody.
And I am a firm believer in communication. Here's an example. We got paid Friday, and then I print the paychecks off, and then I deliver them to the different departments so that they can hand them out to people. Not everybody wants them, but I can't pick and choose who I print for, so I print for everybody.
Pay stubs.
And then our dental insurance and our medical insurance for the year, when Abdo put it in for the first pay period, they put in the new rates. The second and third pay period had the 2025 rates. So now they're not enough. So I had to go back, calculate out what the new rate difference between the old rate difference was, and then charge each employee that extra amount, and then make sure that the amount was updated. Well, people had questions about why did the insurance change again? So I typed up an entire page, showed them exactly what it was, why it was different, and how it might be different going forward, because we are not going to have those extra charges. And told them if they have questions to come and see me, and that I will always have open communication. So I think I've already set them up to expect communication from me about these kinds of things.
Can I just point out real quick that this is actually a good reason proving that why it should come back in-house, because we are having problems with Abdo, and some of it is just their own personal opinion, which we've had with the person that is doing our stuff there, has said, well, I don't think this person deserves that pay. Well, they're not here or understand our contracts. But this is another example. They put it in right the first time and then took it away. So now it's costing us extra time for them to fix it, and extra time for Lynn to fix it, and then go back to them as well. And they charge us for this every time they have to fix something. And so it's just goofy. It's being repetitive, which should just be in-house. We just need to get rid of that extra Abdo fee.
Yeah.
I can imagine this being a problem. You know, when somebody puts down boss pay, that must just,
Right.
they see boss pay, what the hell is that? How do we do this, you know? I mean, it's a nightmare for them, I'm sure. They don't know what's going on. It has to be brought back. And another thing, I was curious. The W-2s, who prints those out?
They're printed from ADP.
Has there been a problem with them this year? Sounds like last
No.
year was a disaster.
No.
Why was it a disaster last year, not this year?
Because my understanding is that when we switched from paychecks to ADP pulled in all the historical information for the beginning of the year, okay? And they reported on the W-2s all of their income, including paychecks. What should have happened is that paychecks issued a W-2 and ADP issued a W-2 for the monies that they knew they had processed. But in fact, they added them together, which then in turn made people think that this $10,000 paychecks W-2 and this $50,000 ADP one, that their income was $60,000, when that wasn't the case. The 50 included the 10. And that's where they ended up having to reissue and do corrected and all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah. And again, the root problem of this, and I'm trying to be cautious not to point blame, but in the number of times I've been in system migrations, it is junk in, junk out, right? And managing the process of converting from one system to another is I mean, you each have done these too. So like
Right.
that's where these problems come in.
Right.
But once we get, like, it sounds like we have ADP is kind of set up to do what it's supposed
Yes.
to do.
Well, yes, I'm in the process of verifying some of his stuff
Right.
because Sam is apparently his full-time primary position is firefighter, and that's not the case, but those are the kinds of things
Right.
that would have been found had there been
Somebody looking at
due
it.
diligence.
Can we, by the next pay period, can we have something ready? Can you have some training ready? Could we maybe send something out with the next paycheck saying, hey, we're
Yep.
looking into like a digital form
That was going to be my suggestion.
of time card?
Yep.
Because that's what, in 2 weeks?
Even if we can get between you and Abdo, if we can get, here's the timelines. We expect this to be a 3-month project or 4-month project or whatever.
Yep.
Here's the milestones. It would be helpful, I think, for all of us to at least know, okay, we're going to have 50% of the employees converted to this new process by X date.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
Like that I think just gives clarity for all of us so that we can think forward to like what types of support do we need to
Sure.
to offer. The other thing, and we should, if we're going to do this in earnest, we should be thinking about, and in particular, I'm looking at Ty, I'm looking at Sam, I'm looking at Trudy, because one of the things that we have asked for as far as information that the council wants is we're going to want to think forward to when an employee from any department is tracking their time, we want to know what the drop down or what the selection options are. I spent 2 hours doing this. I spent 4 hours doing this. I spent 1 hour doing
breakdowns.
this, right? Because at the end of the day, when we get into, when we get into 2027 and we do budget planning, or even, we're not going to have the data for this year, but when we get into 2027, we do budget planning, I want to know how many hours did we spend cutting grass?
Sure.
How many hours did we do regular standard beat patrols of the neighborhood? How many hours did we, that's powerful information for us to be able to say, we're spending resources doing this activity. It's more or less than we want to do, right? That's our job as the council, is to look at those things and figure out what are we doing that we need to do more of? What are we doing that we need to do less of,
Right.
right?
And do it more efficiently.
And that ultimately, much of that information comes from people's paychecks.
Mm-hmm. One of the struggles that we currently have is that with Abdo doing our ADP, I don't know what the process is to allocate wages to the proper place. So we pay our payroll, but I don't get a report from them that says so much of it is supposed to go to public works, so much of it is supposed to go here, so much of it is supposed to go here. I can create those things when I bring it back in-house, and I can run a report and I can set things up so that I can see that information. Just extra information.
Okay, we beat that to death.
We did.
We're gonna move on. Matt's been here for at least a half an hour. So
half
I
an
think we
hour.
should move to the subject that he has to cover.
And then let him
If we
go
have any
home.
questions on it, so he can
You
go
know,
have something to eat.
Got the comfortable chair back there. I was just getting comfortable. I guess I'm here to answer questions or to help explain if there's any questions. I think it's under
Ellers.
new business, right?
Yep.
The question on the Ellers proposal. So we talked a little bit about it during the working session. So I'm just here if you guys have any other questions beyond that or want to discuss it further.
any other questions?
I think we all know that we have to have one. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
So what's the action that we need to have done to have the
To have the Ellers?
to have the Ellers financial plan move forward, right?
Probably
or
need a
not.
motion
You
on
need
it.
to make a motion, right?
Yep, we need a motion on it.
I'll go ahead and I'll make that motion because we need to have this as part of the project. There's no getting around it. We need to have this done and we need to have the audits done. And if we don't have those two things, we can't we can't move forward on the water treatment plant. So,
There's been a motion to accept the financial management plan needed for the PFA funding from Elders. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Council Reddepenning. Open for discussion.
Yeah, if I thought this was gonna move things forward and make it smooth, I'd be all for it, but I don't believe that they're gonna make it any more smooth than we could on our own. And I'll always believe that. But I've been kind of doing this because it's been forced on me for the last 10 years. And I kind of know what's involved with this. But I'm not going to argue this point anymore. I'm tired. So whatever you guys decide.
Any more discussion? I mean, I understand where he's coming from. I definitely do, because we've done it. I mean, he's done it for 10 years minimum. And you understand it too, because you've known him for doing these kind of things. The biggest question is, we need it from somebody legitimate. And that's the only way they'll accept it. From a firm, is that the bottom line? And my second part of this would be, if we do this and give them the information, will they still require to go out through it, or will they take our word for it?
I think at the end of the day, as long as the council passes a resolution and the resolution has the information that they need, that's the assurance that they're going to be looking for, whether it's done by you guys or done by somebody independently. If they come back and have a lot of questions on it, and maybe they won't, I don't know, then it would probably be easier to point back at something where you had a professional outfit come in and do it versus, like, a lot of cities have, bigger cities have their own finance department and would do it in-house. That would be typical. In your situation in communities of Gilbert size, oftentimes that's what Ellers and other outfits like this do. They come in and help do the financial planning for the city. So I guess I couldn't say for sure, Councilor Toczek, if it was something where they would absolutely need to have something done professionally. I think what they're really looking for is the assurance ultimately from the city of Gilbert. So as long as you as a city have a comfort with collectively putting together the information and putting it into a resolution, I don't necessarily think that they're going to balk at approving the loan. It's a matter of, I guess, your comfort level as a city moving forward, doing it and being able to provide the information that they're looking for without the help of a consultant.
Well, I look at that as, we're in the audit, doing an audit. We're going to have people working on that. Are they going to come in at the same time and require some of our people to pull records, to pull invoices, to pull whatever? I mean, we're going to have a conflict of people asking for the same thing, or maybe doubling up, or we just did this and put it away, now Ellers wants it. So we're going to have some confusion in the office, and it's like, if we do this ourselves, and here's the records, we write down what it is, and this is what we cost, this is what we established for what our rates are going to be, because we have to pay off this $3 million loan, or $2 million loan, or $4 million loan. We have to increase our rates by this much. I mean, going through Ellers to me is like passing the buck, so the citizens can't come and say, okay, you did it. No, we didn't do it, this company did it. I mean, is it worth $40,000 for us to say that? Or is it worth them to say, okay, this is what we have, this is the things that we have, we can do this, these are our records, charge us $10,000 to put your signature on. Would they do that?
The difference, I think, too, is that if we do it in-house and we give it to PFA and they do balk at it, then we've lost time to have.
No, we give it to Ellers first.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
and they sign off on it.
And they sign off
I don't
on
know
it
if they
because-
provide that.
In other words, we
service or
do
not.
all the legwork, and we show them all the proof why it can happen, and they say, looks good, we'll sign her signature, charge you 10 grand for her signature, and away we go.
Who's going to do that?
Do what?
Put it together?
Like I said, I've been doing it for 10 years. All
I'm
it
just
is,
asking
all
a
it is you're changing your fee schedule. You'll charge more for usage, or you'll charge more base fees, or whatever it takes. I mean, it's kind of simple.
I understand that. When I listened to Eller's talk, it wasn't necessarily just taking what the rates are now and making changes to them. It's an analysis of about how it's been done, how it can be done, and how it might be different than what it is currently.
I looked at an old rate schedule that was done professionally, and they came up with the electric rate. And they said, well, you should lower your electric rate. And at that time, we were still using our base fee for the electric rate as our reserve. And they had mentioned nothing about the reserve in there. So, but this is just, my experience with this stuff. I don't care. Like I said, I'm just so tired of arguing this point. And if you want to pay $40,000, which you could put towards the audit, go ahead.
I'm not trying to argue with you, Bob. I'm just trying.
No, I'm not. I'm tired of arguing.
I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just trying to make sure that we don't lose valuable time with PFA to try to get the water treatment plant.
When Elmer's gives us a contract for what they're going to do, can we modify the contract that say that we will provide this services for you, or we will do a discounted rate schedule?
I'm not sure. I will have to go back to Todd and ask him.
Is it just a basic contract that they say just sign?
My understanding from the agreement is that they'll come up with, so here's what we're going to recommend your fee schedule should be, and we're going to look at it over the course of however many years. We're still empowered to set the actual rates. Correct. We can go higher or lower, which that will change where we are on the trajectory of whatever they put together for us. If we decide that we're recommending a bond fee of $25 a month for 20 years to pay this off, just completely making that up. We could say, no, we only want to do 20 and we're going to make the money up somehow. Or we're going to go 27.
So that's the thing. So why even have them do it if you're going to make the change? You're on your own. It doesn't make any sense.
It's what the value from my perspective is, these are people who are experts in their field. They're going to be able to look at, the financial implications of where we're going to be doing, how we're going to be doing this for 20 years. And quite honestly, I don't have the expertise. I don't have that type of accounting expertise to do it. And I don't know anybody in this building that does, aside from potentially Lynn, who's tapped out.
All they are is guessing, because they're going to have a 10-year outlook to see projections of where we're going to be in 10 years, and nobody knows. So they're going to give you a 10-year projection of what your rate should be in 10 years. Who can do that? Come on, We don't know if we're going to lose a couple of mines in the 10 years, and we're going to lose half our population. These projections, it's just a guessing game, is all it is.
I don't know how we can plan a budget in a guessing game. I mean, if you're saying that nobody is able to make these, then why should I trust the numbers that you come up with?
Yeah.
Versus theirs?
Yeah, there you go. Why should you trust theirs then?
Because they're accountants?
But they're guessing like we would. Nobody knows the future. They're guessing what the future could be.
I think we should have a discussion with them and see what they will agree with.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, I can approve this, to go ahead with this, with the caveat that
I've
we have a
talked to
discussion
Mr.
with them.
Hagan, the head of this. I've talked to him in the past with the fire truck that we ended up getting at 6.25%. Payoff. Boy, they really did us good there. But anyway, I've talked to him about these kind of things. So I'd like to talk to him about what they're proposing for us.
I think we should set up a meeting with him, and I know that we have to have it signed by, you can't sign it because you're not a fiscal agent or whatever that is. They have to sign it, and that's the only way PFA might accept it. But if we sit down and have a talk with them, when they come over here and say, okay, this is what we propose, tell
Yeah.
us what you propose. And then, I mean, if we
See,
come
a
to an
lot
agreement on
of, a
that-
lot of what they're charging you for is legwork.
Right.
If you can give them all that information to look at,
They're just
and
gonna
they say,
computer.
well, yeah, it looks good, you know, thank you for it.
It goes
We don't
to the
have
computer and
to
it just comes.
charge you $310 an hour is what they're gonna charge. If we got it all there for them.
So Matt, do you think if we have a meeting with them to discuss how we want to do it versus how we can't afford to do it your way, that they might go along with it or see what their agreement comes up with?
I think it's worth having a discussion with them.
Yeah.
I would put it off another couple of weeks and try to meet between now and your next council meeting. I would just table this for right now, and
But
if
they
that's
do-
where you want to go.
If they move forward, we need to have a resolution specifically, not just a council motion to move forward.
End of the day, in all of this, as it relates to the water treatment plant, the PFA loan, the city council will have to pass a resolution with this information in
Okay,
it.
but not necessarily specific to, like, we can
We could approve the
have
Ellers.
to move forward with their portion. That portion would be part of the
Yeah.
resolution.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
Yeah.
helpful, because
Yeah.
there's a distinct
yeah,
difference between what a passed motion can do versus a resolution.
correct. Yep.
Okay.
You will ultimately need a resolution for the
We'll need a
PFA.
motion to move forward to discuss with them and set up a meeting with them and then see what they come up with and
Yeah.
then build a resolution.
So can I remind you, you did make a motion
We
and
did,
you
yep.
seconded it already to move
You
forward?
remind me what the motion was.
It was to move forward with what was presented, to have Ellers
So
do
we can
it.
move forward with a discussion with Ellers.
Right.
Yeah.
Come up with a solution.
Right, so you need to reword
Yeah, we
it.
can just
Yeah.
reword it.
Yeah,
I'll go with that.
yeah.
I'll second that revised
Moved and
motion.
seconded. Any more discussion?
Yeah.
Hearing none. All those in favors?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Would you like me to set up a Teams meeting?
Some type of meeting to when we
Yeah.
can get in touch with them ASAP.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm asking. I can give you, you can come to the office if you'd like. I will set up a Teams, so Paul, if you are not here in
Yep.
Gilbert, you could participate anyway, and then
Yep,
Ryan,
'cause
if you want.
They're gonna be,
He'll be
not
on a Teams anyway.
yeah.
It'll
so-
be Teams.
Yeah.
So I will set
And
up.
Matt could be included in on.
Yep, no, absolutely. I would include Matt.
Right.
For sure.
Can I just clarify, Counselor Reda-Penning did second it again for the, when they reworded the motion?
I
So I
second
think he's leading.
second.
Yeah, so I made the
the revised motion. I seconded it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. We'll go back to old business. We have to set up a meeting for the ASME negotiations.
I should have caught this when we made changes to the agenda. I'm going to recommend that we move that out of old business, or, well, keep it in old business, but put it as the very last meeting, or last item of this meeting, because we need to close the session to talk about what the latest is. I have the update from the city attorney.
But we can't close it. We can't close the session unless it's on the agenda.
So then we can't talk
No,
about
we
this.
can't talk about it.
Don't we just have to set up a meeting?
Yeah, just set up a meeting to talk about it at a, you can even have it as an open session and talk about it, and the public can be invited, you know? But you need 3 days
This
to
is a topic
have
we
any
can't.
special.
This
Yeah.
is a topic that, because of the sensitivity in here, this can't be an
Has
open
to be
meeting
closed.
topic.
Okay, so then it'd be a closed session
Yep.
and 3 days' notice. And I don't know, is that Friday? Did that work out on Friday?
That was-
If you do it, that was the question before.
Well, we're going to meet, we have a meeting on Friday already.
So it'd
One.
have to be a Monday
Is it going to be out there?
We have a meeting at 1 o'clock at IRRB.
At the
at their office.
Yeah.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
And that was specific, was that put on our calendars?
That's for the wastewater treatment plant financing.
Okay.
So we need a closed session probably for Monday then, meeting.
I'm looking at it.
We're gonna need to talk to Amanda on that, because she was,
Well, not with even them. I mean,
Well-
we got to talk about what
But
we're
we told them
offering.
that we were going to get back.
the discussion point was to talk about was to get consensus from the whole council about what our next offer was,
Or if we accepted theirs.
or if we just accepted
Right,
theirs.
yeah.
And so we're at that decision point at this point right now, and so we can't.
We can vote on whether we accept it or not.
Right now?
We can vote on whether we're going to accept this or not.
Yeah, I guess you could,
Because that doesn't have to be closed.
No.
yeah. So if
If
we,
we accept it,
or not accept it, well,
if we
then.
not accept it, then we
they
can
give
go
the-
and we have to have a
they
meeting
give
for
the
closed
notice.
session.
Yeah.
But if we don't accept it.
I don't know how we can vote on this one way or another without having a discussion about what we're talking about, and we can't have that discussion in a public session
True.
because it's a negotiation.
Then we have to set up a meeting where we can have a closed session.
That closed session on Monday. Because you got to give 3 days advance notice.
I'll need a motion for a closed session.
I'll make a motion for the closed session on Monday at 1 o'clock. Or,
Does that work for you?
or, yeah,
No, it's not. I've got some stuff on my calendar I can't move.
What time would their time work that is better?
Can you make it? Or you can make it? It'd have to be in the evening. For Ryan to make it, it'd have to be in the evening.
what's that?
For Ryan to make it, would have to be in the evening.
We can make it an evening because it's just amongst us.
Yeah.
So if that makes it easier for you, Paul.
You have to check with Brian's calendar because he's going to have to be here. So,
Your closed session shall be recorded.
What time, Monday?
Monday at 5, Brian, is that too early?
5 would work. Yeah.
5 would work?
Yeah. I have to check Brian's schedule up first. See.
yeah, see what he's got to be able to, because he's got to,
Record it.
I mean, we've got his printed updates on here, but we can't really go into details and what all of these things mean.
He has to be here.
Yeah.
Okay, until we hear from Brian, we'll move on to item D, North Shore Development. That's a Brian review also.
That's what we talked about.
So you're not going to make a motion contingent on if Brian can make it for Monday? I
We're
mean,
waiting we skipped over that
Are you
one and to
texting?
move on.
I did.
Okay.
okay.
North Shore Development, that's a Brian review. That's,
He said, he gave Marion the update that he hadn't reviewed it yet, but he would, and then get back to us, so,
we'll move on.
yep.
We don't have the developers here.
No,
We'll move on. PSN.
we don't, I think we can, Bob, you don't have anything with PSN right now, right?
No, I recommend that we start charging, for that
Right.
service, but that's a discussion.
Do you want to leave it on here for old business for,
Was that specifically the credit card?
Yeah.
What does that take to push through? Like, can we vote on that tonight or no?
I don't know for sure what.
Yeah, if I'm not
legally-
mistaken, at our last discussion, I mean, obviously, we can charge the fees, but we would have to have some sort of process making sure that everybody's informed, that we're informing them every time that they use PSN as well. So we would have to have something established and in
We
place.
have to determine what the fee is.
Right, right. So maybe that's something we can pull together for the next meeting.
So do we stuff an envelope with the bill in it to say that we're looking into charging a fee for credit card, so everybody gets aware of it then?
Yep, and then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, every time they would come in here and they would make a payment, we would have to tell them the options. If you pay by cash, there's no fee. If you pay by credit card,
There's a
Those are the
There's
people who
a
don't
fee.
actually get a mailed bill to
So-
them.
Well, they get a bill.
oh, they get a mailed bill, but some people choose to pay in here.
Pay here.
Yeah.
So here's what I would like to see for our next meeting, so we can vote to move this forward. We already know the amounts that we're talking about. For, they're sizable. So I think, in my mind, we want to move forward in passing this forward. I want to know what are our legal requirements timeline that we have to tell consumers.
Yep.
It's probably going to be, I'm guessing,
30 or 60
60-day notice, I'm guessing. But if we can clarify with Brian to find out what are we obligated to do, that will allow you all to say, okay, this is when we think we can implement it.
Yep.
Back that out and say, as of June 1st, we're going to start doing this. So then we will have May and April to communicate to all of the utility users saying that this is what's going to happen. And then we can figure out how we let people know. Obviously, we'll put something in utility bills.
Right.
We'll put it on the website. We'll put it on the bulletin board.
We'll put it on the ticker.
Yep.
So at the next meeting, you'll have a letter
I
that
will
we
have,
can put into the,
we'll have the legal requirements to notify what those are. I'll ask Brian about them and what it is that we need to do and what the timeline is. So
we can put it in a letter, put it in a bill so that everybody gets informed.
Right.
How much
and
we're gonna
How much we're
charge.
going to charge, right? Because we need to find out
And
from
the
Brian,
rate,
because there
right.
was what I thought, and then there was information that Brian said that we could have
Charge anything.
a difference.
Yeah, he said
And
we
so
could charge anything, all I remember it, yeah.
I think PSN is charging us something like
1.8% on
1.8%.
average.
So do we make that a 2.5% convenience fee or 3%? Like we have to figure out what that rate is, what makes the most sense.
When I come back with what the legal requirements are and what Brian says we have to do, as far as notifying them, at that point we can set what that is based on the fact that I will ask him what those parameters need to be in order to stay in the legal
Right.
side
Yeah.
as well.
And the other thing we need to make sure in the communication is that utility users will have an option
Yes.
of paying without incurring this fee.
Yep, options available.
We'll have that by next meeting,
Yes,
Yep.
right? Okay.
as long as we get Brian to respond.
Yep.
Okay, moving on to G, Abdo.
I think I had this on here just for an update as to what's happening.
Was that
Yeah.
from Revere?
No,
No,
no, I think that was for, this is just more for the audit, I think. Abdo has got accounts payable and they're doing some things to get started on the audit. I did send them an email this afternoon, stressed the urgency to work on this very diligently and that there's significant financing that depends on it. And asked them for a timeline as far as what they foresee this audits being done. Obviously, they can't work on 24 until we get 23 done. So I just asked for that, but I sent that to them at 4 o'clock, Rudy, I think, 3, something like that. And I haven't checked my email, so I don't know if I've gotten a response back or not.
Was it determined that they need to come up here to finish that audit?
Not for 2023 at this
Okay.
point,
Yeah.
but they will if it's necessary.
Yep. And we authorize the flexibility to.
Yes.
So.
Yep, and they know that. And I did stress to them when I talked to them and Clifton Larson Allen, I said, this has to have been done yesterday. And I, in my email today, said, I realize that our fire isn't your problem, but this is a situation that we've stepped into, or I have for sure. And at this point, we really don't want to lose funding because of it. So if you could,
Help us out.
and move
Yeah.
forward with it as fast as you can, I would appreciate
Right.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Just trying to make sure that they
They know the urgency of this.
Right.
Yeah.
And
We need.
I made it very clear.
Yep. We need to correct this
Right.
situation.
Right. And like I said, I told them, I know this isn't their problem, that we are in this position, but it's not mine either. So if they could help me, that would be awesome. So,
Okay, moving on. H, Ridge mini storage promissory note due. I'll need a motion for that, to pay that promissory note.
I guess we'll make that motion to pay that promissory note as soon as we get established
Confirmation.
that we did
Right.
get payment from the
Yep.
county. Yeah.
I don't know that we need to move on this because this is an action in a resolution that's been approved and signed for.
Right.
We just need, the only thing that we need to do is we need to confirm.
That it was
We can just make it
receivable.
in a motion form and then we can, Yeah, so we could cover all
We receive the
bases.
money,
Yeah.
so we can pay them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Make a motion that it gets paid, yeah, that's, yeah,
Is there a second?
So the motion is to pay it?
Yeah.
to pay.
If we
If we find out that we got paid.
Yeah, I feel like I'm 100% sure. I just would like to see it in front of me so I can put it with the file that shows that we did get it. And I didn't have enough time to look for it today. So I would just rather see that before we issue that check. But I don't think a motion needs to be made.
As long as we have confirmation,
Right.
I will second.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously.
Brian said Monday will work for him at 5.
Monday at 5?
Monday at 5,
Drafts me,
closed session,
closed session at 5 o'clock.
so you're gonna post this.
I'll post it.
So we'll go back to item C. I'll need a motion for that.
We had Bob originally made a motion. It just wasn't seconded yet till you guys had it figured out.
Okay, there's been a motion.
The
Is there a
motion
second?
for Monday, 5 p.m. closed session.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will second that.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. On the calendar, Monday, 5 p.m., closed session. Go to item I, tax on pull tabs. I think that's Paul.
Yeah, I still need to get together with Brian on what he's done in the past with that. Yeah, we have to get language together to put together an ordinance.
So we move this again to old business?
Yep.
Move to old business for the next meeting.
Yep.
Item J, UTV for the campground. I know we had a couple of extra quotes come in for these, and I don't think that we're ready to do this yet because of the cost of some of these things and what we need. And maybe we're brand used instead of brand new. You get a very good used one sometimes.
You want to move it to next meeting or the meeting?
We're just gonna move it again to the next meeting to old business.
Do we have all the quotes that we're going to be getting, or is somebody looking for more quotes?
I think we're looking for more quotes because, I mean,
Well, we had one from Northland, and then we had one from Toro,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, the one from Toro does not have a cab.
yeah.
It's just like the one that we had last
yeah,
time,
there's
Paul.
2 Toro ones.
Well, no, I mean,
I thought that's what,
What's in their budget for this? Like,
We don't know the campground budget. That's what
Well,
we
it's
discussed in the
looking like a
campground.
couple 100,000, right? We're guessing,
so.
we're kind of guessing about a couple hundred possibly.
We get it.
It's all a
we look
guessing
for that.
game again, you know.
oh, this one does too have a canopy. I apologize.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
because I feel like we could find a very, very nice used one for half that price.
We can look.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, where do we look though for the used ones? Is that for local?
I can.
Like, oh, you can? Okay. Yeah.
If you find something, let me know, and then I can add it to the agenda.
We'll just look for more quotes at the next meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. See what we come up with.
Okay.
Okay, item K, moving that over, well, not moving it over. Item K is for the 2 bids that we have, one from Masaba Bit and one from Winger, and I think we discussed it in the working session to go ahead with the Masaba Bit one and notify Winger that we would like the
Partial.
partial bid on his just to get a better slab. on
When the weather
gazebo.
allows, when the weather allows for that concrete.
When where they get start?
Masaba Bit would start anytime now just to get the dirt before it gets to,
The road restrictions lift. I mean, are
yeah,
put
with
in.
road restrictions, before they come on, which is probably the middle of March.
So
They
they're
dump
just
the
gonna
dirt
dump
in,
it up there.
they dump the dirt in that parking lot up there to get it ready for that. And I think we want to go with Class 5 cement,
Yeah, concrete crush if they have
concrete
it.
crush.
And the reason for not going with
Yeah,
that
that's,
is,
they
Yeah.
crush that up because the black stuff
yeah,
is sharp.
Sharp, and then your feet walk on it.
right,
Yes.
kids will cut their
So,
feet on that stuff.
I'll get in touch with him and let him know that they can start doing that. And I don't think they'll actually get into that parking lot until it gets a little warmer when they can start.
But his quote says recycle class 5 now. I know what recycle and I know what class 5 is, so I don't know why
I
it's
think it's a
listed as.
recycle for the cement.
Maybe he means concrete
Yeah,
crush then.
That's
Yeah.
concrete crush.
Right.
Well, that would make sense. Yeah, that sounds right there.
Right.
Do we have to get a new bid clarifying that?
No.
No,
I need a motion.
Rudy was in communication with
Yep.
him, so he knows, yeah.
I talked to him the other day about it too.
Okay, yeah, as long as you follow up with them.
Yep,
And then we're gonna have Winger do the
gazebo,
the
Yeah,
pavilion.
concrete
the
parts, yeah.
pavilion.
Can we check with Dawn? Because I know that amenity is actually connected to, I think, D10 or one campsite. They actually pay a higher price for the use of that site and pavilion. So just have a discussion with her about, we're going to be doing some work on this. How is that going to affect the operation? Is there a way for us to time it that will work well? Like, we don't want to inconvenience.
It depends when they're rented D10.
I was just gonna say, if I look to see when D10 is rented, that might help us know
Yeah.
how soon. I mean, maybe we could do that one first.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
and even if we have to, if there's a space like second week of May where there's nobody in there, if we can block it out for that,
Right.
if, like,
Yep.
if we can do anything to be as least disruptive to guests as possible.
Yep.
Do we know what the timeline would be to fix that?
No,
No.
No? Okay.
but they would get at it ASAP before it tries to open, because he has his own cement truck
I mean, it's not gonna be months, right?
and.
It's gonna be.
Right.
Hope not.
No, it's not gonna go into the season,
Hopefully, or before May if the season.
just before the season starts to get it done.
Yeah.
If we get some more 50-degree weather, that
Well,
could
you got more- yeah. That's what I
But
was saying.
partial load, depends on how big the load's gotta be,
Yeah. I don't know.
Lots of stuff could
I
happen.
mean, so what I know of the season, the week before Memorial Day and probably 2 weeks after Memorial Day, there's probably going to be some soft spots in terms of like the demand
Right.
for
Right.
the spaces.
It'll be a
So-
little early in the season for,
Yeah,
we could, I'll
we
look
don't
to
we don't
see.
get super busy until tail end of June and into July, August, because I just don't want to get into July, August when places crawling with people.
So we have a motion on this to approve those things?
I will motion to approve the Wasabi bed
And the pavilion from Winger.
and the pavilion.
I'll second that.
Any more discussions? Been moved and seconded? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
I just clarify, it's the full bid for Masabi Bit and only the pavilion for.
Just the
Okay.
lift and lower pavilion.
Yep.
And the concrete sidewalk, right?
Not around the building, no.
No.
Oh, that was
We got-
part.
It's part of Winger's bid, but I don't know how much money we have in the campground to finish that because of other things that have to be done in the campground, like the plumbing, the heating system, or all that
So we
kind of
can do that in the fall, once we determine if the funds are there, is
Yep.
kind of what you're
Yep.
saying. Yeah. Okay.
Let's get the big ticket items
Yeah.
up and
Then they can
Yeah.
do like, because his bid was for doing some of the sidewalk was doing bituminous for it.
So that's going to be
That's
from the
sod.
handicap parking lot up to
Up
the
to it.
sidewalk.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, October after we close is still plenty of work.
For concrete, yeah, you can do it then.
Because there's a lot of work to be done at that campground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to see somebody come up with something for getting those water lines fixed also. Whether we have the city crew do it or go and tell us how many water lines there are, how many valves we have to buy to change. Maybe Sam can go out there and tell us how many of these shut-offs we need. Because you know about the,
Yeah. I mean, the only restriction is they have to be 24 inches above the ground.
correct. But it's gonna go from the galvanized up to,
Right.
I
so
think our public works could.
they could do that. They could do that in the winter.
Yeah.
And you're just unscrewing that thing off the top and putting another one on there.
So do any of those have to be moved to a certain side to make them more compliant to with? No, they're all,
I mean,
wherever they are, they're
I
gonna
walked-
stay there.
I walked through with Dawn, and I think there's 2 or 3 sites that we should look at long term for what I would call just general utility realignment.
Yeah, right.
Those are larger projects, and because that involves digging and moving and stuff.
Yeah.
But there aren't very many that fall into that
Need that.
category. So
There's going to be upgrades to the electrical to get 50 amps down there. There's going to be upgrades to get power up to the tenting
Right,
area.
you could do it at that
water up to the
time.
tenting area also.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to fix those shower units. We
Yeah.
have to fix those shower units. I can't see a fan on the floor trying to take the air out of it when that system isn't working, keep blowing the fuses.
Oh, you're talking the air exchange.
The air exchange,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
We have to get that
Yeah.
fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to item L under old business. Counselors Vertachnik and Redpenning to do IT and inventory of IT and services. We just like permission to do that from the council. We can do it, but we'd like permission from the council to do it.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll get with Ryan whenever he can come and
Yeah.
get a key, whether it's weekend or not, or
And that includes, you're basically looking at
what we have.
right, what we need to do moving forward.
Correct, and I'm trying to get our other person that we've been having over here, or whatever that is, that's could take over the system at a lower rate, have him come over here also and see what his opinions are on that.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to get a key from Lynn sometime to get in that back room to see what's back in there and all that kind of stuff, that we might do it on a weekend, something like that.
I can be here whenever you need to be here.
Okay.
Not this weekend. I have to be in the city.
Yeah, that's what's.
We'll just get a key from you this weekend. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll say aye. Motion approved.
Do we think that we'll have, for our March 10th meeting, enough information to get a new contract in place for that, for IT services?
Yeah, I think he's on vacation right now.
He'll be back this weekend.
And he'll be coming back this weekend, then he's gonna come over here, and he's gonna go through what we have and do an inventory by himself, you know, to see what that is. I'm gonna hope to maybe get in the evening sometime, if he could come over, then Ryan and I can be here also to discuss the different things that he has from here to the police department to the fire department.
When I was here the other day, I was talking to Trudy, and she was saying she's not getting a lot of reception down there at the wastewater treatment plant.
For Wi-Fi?
Yes, for Wi-Fi, so I guess Randy put a booster there, but it's still lacking at some times. She's not getting any reception for Wi-Fi. So I don't know if that can be looked into.
Whether we leave a Wi-Fi down there or have Century or Xfinity put a hard line down there, because they need access to that equipment remotely at all times.
Right, and I says, I'll get Rudy on it, because he'll know what to do.
He did.
So, I got too many friends. Okay. Item M, follow-up from the previous council meetings. Abdo and Yadet, I think we did that.
Yeah, we did.
Wood for the campground.
So we've got an estimate on here, or a quote on here. Just to clarify, I think, Lynn, you probably know the most on this one. So there's 2 line items on here. Did Sam indicate at all if he had a preference one way or the other? Because I know his team ultimately is responsible for them.
He did not.
Okay.
He did not have.
It looks like the 26 pallets at 10,296 was, I think that's what we got last year.
He did say that the price was not different from last year.
Okay. So the only thing that I guess,
How much do you want?
how much we want. We've got the room to store them. They typically drop it off the first week of May. And so I guess the question would be, the only difference is it's a smaller amount if they have to bring their machine to unload it versus our machine to unload it, which,
Let's just unload it. I mean, I think that's what we did in the past, right?
yeah, I think that's what, but if we can confirm that with Sam,
Yep.
then I would say we should go with the bigger amount because it's going to last us longer.
Yep. I'll confirm.
You only need 1 load per season?
I
The
think
big one?
I think 1 load was about what we did last year. It was the starting amount.
Yeah, Sam
There's
told
no
me.
sharing with you anymore on that. This is all.
I'm purchasing that at the cost. Actually, there is a markup for a wholesale cost.
So you purchase from us?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, so we're actually supplying 2 campgrounds with that.
Well, actually, I think Whiteface may have gotten some from us last year. Check with Dawn, because I don't think that I was the only one.
Okay. Sam told me that he thinks that out of the whole semi, he thinks there's maybe 5 pallets left.
Yeah, there's about 5 pallets left. We were down to look at.
And then, so I feel like that's, I mean, that's not a huge amount left, I don't
Yeah,
think.
no.
So, and it just sits so it dries anyway, it's still
they
good.
go. I think in talking with Dawn, they go through for sure a pallet a weekend. So, and depending upon weather and a whole
Right.
bunch of, like, more or less, how full they are.
We wouldn't want to short ourselves, I guess. I mean, I don't think 5 pallets is
No.
that much anyway. so.
Yeah. So I would confirm with Sam, and then just get it on the schedule, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna actually abstain from this, but I'm gonna recommend that we go with the 26 pallets because it's just more convenient. We don't have to have.
And we have to unload it then.
Yeah.
So we can have the truck drive it down to where the wastewater is now in that garage, and then the rest of it can come up to the rec center.
Yep.
Since we can unload it, but I know that our forks are small on the skid steer, and it balances back and forth for doing that. I don't know if they should have.
I will check with
forks.
Sam.
Well,
You
so
should have the forks, actually.
the pallets are basically 2x2 all the way
Right.
down. So they basically, when they unload it, they're going on one side and then on the other side.
No, but when I've watched them move it from there down to the garage down there, the pallet is this long, the forks are this long.
Oh,
He bounces on it to where it bounces
Oh,
a
it's
lot.
tippy.
yeah.
They do have longer forks, so I
So
don't think.
I guess again with
I'll ask
Sam,
Sam.
at that time of the year, if we're getting it in the first week of May, I know in the past we've put it in the arena short term until we get through about halfway through the season, and then there's less to. Then he distributes it to, gets as much as he can in the shed at the campground, and then puts the rest down there. So however he wants to have
I
it.
was just going to say, why don't we just let Sam
Yeah,
decide?
let Sam figure it out.
I'd fill up the garage first. That way it's stored.
Sure.
Yeah. Did you say they need longer forks, that's all? Well, that's no problem. They can get those very easily. So that would solve that problem.
Because they have the short forks.
Yeah, I get the longer ones and you don't have to worry about it.
Be safer.
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody,
So I need a motion to have that
I will-
26 pallets.
I will motion to, the 26 pallets.
I'll second.
They moved and seconded. Have the Minnesota Firewood LLC bring us 26 pallets that we unload ourselves at a cost of $10,296. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries unanimous.
Abstention.
One abstention.
With one abstention.
I did note that already.
We have another item C now, the wall in the clerk's office.
B?
Item C in working session.
Yep, that's the Lency.
Yeah,
The
let's see
Lency bid?
proposal.
Oh, right.
I don't think we're doing that, are we?
I think once you guys inventory and find out the setup, this isn't needed, right?
Whether we're gonna stay with in-service or go iCloud.
Well, so
This is here.
No, this is the room.
server room.
This is the room. Yeah.
So if there is, what I personally would like, based on what Lynn showed me, and I know the mayor certainly has opinions, what I would like to see is I'd like the inventory of the IT stuff done first.
Yeah.
If it is possible for us to simply throw up another wall in that existing workroom with a door on it that can be locked, so that server box, because I don't want to we shouldn't have to move that server because that's going to cost us money if we have to move it to another room. The fact is, it needs to be secured. It needs to be locked. The case around it is lockable
Correct.
now and is locked. So, just from a compliance standpoint, do we have what we need so that nobody's able to get in there? I don't know that putting up this new wall is needed, I guess is what I'm saying. I want to know more about what we have from you guys first.
Well, it's like looking in that room right there.
Right.
You know what's in there.
Yep.
It needs to be taken out and moved out. If it's good, fine. If it's not good.
Yep.
And you could bring all the old equipment. We could bring it to Duluth to Best Buy because they take all electronics free of charge
To recycle it, right?
to recycle.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I say we move this to some future meeting after we get more information from you.
Right. Correct. First responders, item D, first responder, raise the call rate to $10 per call from $9 per call. I can go along with that.
I can too, I'll make that motion.
There's some equipment from a first responder sitting in the office now. Miriam can say,
Yeah, what are you asking me about the equipment?
yeah.
It was just returned from one of our members who resigned. So it's here for Pete to come pick up for the next member. But you kind of moved through that motion really fast and then you stopped before it was seconded. So can you repeat what the motion is, please? The rate increase?
A rate increase from $10 per call from $9 per call. Bob made the motion. We're looking for a second.
I will second that.
So I have a question. Who pays that $9 or $10? Is that a fee that's assessed to the person who receives the service, or please clarify what that is?
I think it's the first responder gets $10 a call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that's how we are
That's how we
Pay them.
paying them.
Right.
Right. So if they want to call, no matter how long it is, it's $10.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So then, thank you. So then my question is, from a budget standpoint, do we have what we need to be able to absorb that increase based on how often we use the service?
For that
I
amount,
think-
for a dollar?
Pete told me that they did 190 calls or something last year, so it's $190.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very minimal.
And
Thank you.
that tax comes from the campground for the
Yep.
first responders.
Yep.
Right.
Part of that.
I mean, I don't think that's significant. It's de minimis at this point, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
But
It's
it's,
been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Community Center update.
I did that.
That was covered under Lynn's presentation.
Yep.
Okay, under new business, going back to the regular agenda, Revere. We'll need a motion to either purchase that in all of licenses. I think we had quite a discussion on that.
I would like to see more licenses than less, just because if you share your information with her or someone else and they do something they shouldn't, it's under your name.
Right.
So
Okay.
figure out what you need for licensing.
I'll go ahead and make the motion for the $5,000 startup fee and $1,200 per license, up to 3 licenses. Unless we need more, you'd have to come back to the council.
That's fine. I think 3 should be enough.
Okay.
Right.
I think it should. If it isn't,
Try
I will
to do it in
definitely.
2. Try to do it in 2.
Yes, up to 3, yes.
Right. That's why, I had said too, I really think that while we have that third person in there helping us get everything, it would be nice because we're all going to be in it at the same time. But at some point, I think 2 would be sufficient.
Ask them, do they have a 90-day trial type of thing?
Right.
I think that we can change it at any time,
Okay.
the
Right.
number that we want, up or down, but I'll confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that we can. So,
It's been moved and seconded.
who's second?
I'll second.
Bob did.
Okay, Bob.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Is there any other business that any counselor would like to bring up? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will move to adjourn.
Counselor Gilbert has moved to adjourn.
I'll second.
Counselor Condon has seconded. All those in favor?